Hello, everybody, and thank you for coming to the final episode of NerdgazmicGoodfellas presents The Drinking Corner. I am your proprietor for this evening, Ryunn Eldred, and I am here with our best returning guest and
Oh,
co-host,
now you're just saying things.
Razgriz, the BossFoss. How you doing, buddy? It's been a very long time since you've been in anything Nerdgasmic Goodfellas related, so I am very happy to conclude this chapter in our channel with you.
I I'm doing all right since my departure from Nerdgasmic Goodfellas. Um, I will go into more detail about what happened later, but I'm doing all right. Been working myself to the bone. I actually just tried to get myself a new job,
Hmm.
kind of like a promotion. It would have been $4 more an hour with a guaranteed 2 additional hours a day. Um, they were only going to interview the top three, and me and my friend who also did the job, or took the job, or took the interview. Um, we both ended up uh, having the exact same score on the test, which was we both scored 89 out of 80, and we both tied for sixth place. Now,
Whoa,
this
what a
doesn't,
good job.
yeah, thank you. This doesn't mean that they're not going to ever interview us, but we're not the first picks.
You're not the first round draft.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I'm doubtful that I'm going to get a call, but that's okay. Um,
This has been a good week of getting callbacks for everybody I know. Like Aaron just got approved for a new apartment. Like my friend Mary, she just got a call back for a job she's been waiting on for like the last month. So, fingers crossed for you, man.
yeah. Well, I hope that the next callback I have is for, hey, congratulations, you won the lottery.
Gotta pick
Um,
and choose your
I
blessings.
could try. But other than that, I mean, taking it one day at a time. I'm trying to improve my health. I did just start therapy, and then I'm working with Kaiser to sorry, all I see is the in incense
Yeah,
smoke.
I have an incense burning right now because my cat just took a wicked no and it smells pretty awful, so I'm burning an incense to
I
mask it.
I understand. Um, yeah, I'm working with Kaiser to help with the weight loss since I want to work out, but I can't work out because if I do work out, I end up with the massive headaches that we still don't know what it's causing. But like even as I'm still talking, can still feel the pressure on the back of my head a little bit.
You know,
Which, by the way, for
are
those of you
yours
listening,
happening in like
it's
the nape of your neck kind of
um,
area, like right at
it
the
would
base
be
of the skull?
for those of you listening, it is if you have a pair of gaming headphones on, it would be located just behind and above the headset. So it's still on the side of my head.
So like right in this area.
Higher, higher, like right around there.
I've been having them like right here at the base of my head, and they cycle up like over the ear into the back of the eye socket. I've
Yeah.
had it for like going on a month now. It's not when I work out. I thought they were stress headaches at first, but I am not sure.
Well, that's what we thought at first too. Like, oh, maybe it's like a stress thing or like a muscle thing. But for those of you listening, it is currently, well, we are recording this, and spoiler, this is behind the scenes. It's May 1st, 2025 right now. I've been having these migraines almost daily since mid-January. So I've been dealing with this for a while. Sorry, I'm eating pistachios.
You're good.
We might have a podcast about that later. Um,
Favorite podcast bar snack.
yeah. So uh, I'm okay. I'm dealing with my health issues, but I'm okay. How are you doing?
Today has been an utterly exhausting day. I've been at the fair all day, which I know in the essence sounds like a really fun day. But I've been on my feet. I'm running on 3 hours of sleep today. I'm beaten up, I'm worn down. Other than that, I'm good. I got an email today referring to summer school hours, which is going to be 9 hour days, which sounds like I'm sure it'll even out to what I work throughout a month because during the summer you only work 2 weeks in each month. But I'm excited for it. I'm opting in to do the summer schooling. I'm really loving the new job. The
That's
headache,
good.
the migraines have not been as rampant since I left Roundtable
That's good.
and left the stress of all that and everything, but I've been having them still.
Hmm.
It's usually typically at like the end of the day once I get home and I start winding down from the stress. If I don't immediately take a nap and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna like record something or I'm gonna go clean or just do anything after work, that's when the migraines kick in.
Right.
But I'm also starting to feel like the pain in my neck a lot more too, which I don't know if that's just me turning 30 or if that's just you
Could
never
be.
know at this age.
Yeah.
But I'm good. I am there is something very, I think the word I'm looking for is cathartic. Cathartic about recording this final episode and actually willingly closing a book in this like chapter of our journey.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's been a long journey.
The drinking corner is something that followed from my personal channel into this because this is the second time we brought the podcast. This
Right.
second time, even though it still was a failure, was still more successful than the first endeavor.
Dude, you look like you have some like special effect going across you.
I know because it's only going across me. Sorry, I'm recording from Snoop Dogg's studio, so it's just,
Oh, total side tangent. Did you see his most recent song that he released
um,
on 420?
is it the music video for it or was it like
Yeah,
the actual?
it was a music video, and it was
Yeah,
Last Dance with Mary Jane.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite songs on his new Missionary album. I
Dude,
like the
honestly,
whole
like
Jelly Roll and Him combination.
uh I had clicked on it because I was like, Last Dance with Mary Jane. I'm like, no way Snoop Dogg gives up smoking. Like, nah.
It's a
So
really
I
beautiful
clicked on the
song.
video, and the entire time, like Katie even walked in and she sat down and she goes, it's kind of weird, but I kind of like it. So we were like vibing with it. I'm like,
He does a lot of song covers in the new album that he did. Last
mm,
Dance with Mary Jane being one of them with Jelly Roll. But he does the song I'd like to thank you for letting me be myself. He does that song. I can't remember the I think it's just Be Myself or whatever.
yes.
He does MIA's Paper Planes. He does a cover of that or a remix of that. He just the new album's really good, especially for his return to Death Row Records. I think it's a good debut album for him taking over this studio.
Yeah, I didn't. So I don't know anything about what was going on. It was more just that's actually the first time that I've seen something from Snoop Dogg, and I was like, hey, you know what? I want to listen to this. Now that being said, I do like some of the older music, but I don't listen to rap often.
Yeah.
Um, sorry about the tangent, but
No, it's all good. I honestly love talking about music, so it's a pleasant tangent and it's a good song. I've got my mom onto that, and right now I got it plays on the radio all the time, but it's Luther by Kendrick Lamar and SZA, SZA. Think I'm pronouncing that right.
yeah, it sounds about right.
But I've had that song like just playing on repeat too.
Yeah.
But
I'm moving stuff on my desk, and I had like a
yeah,
little bit of itch on my face, and I
I was
realized
just
I'm
like
still holding the thing, so I was putting it down. Sorry.
I was like, what's going on here? But no, to answer your question, I'm doing really good. I feel like I'm in a really good place doing this episode. And as I mentioned in the beginning, I'm really happy to actually do this episode with you because I know we've been wanting to do this for what? Over a month? Because originally this episode was supposed to be recorded and finished before the 15th of last month.
Yes.
Because the anniversary of the Nerdgasmic Goodfellas is April 15th, which
Hmm.
was when we were going to roll out the new podcast, which we'll talk all about that as we talk about why we're ending this and just everything. But it feels really good to finally close that chapter of the book because even though this was a passion project, one of the reasons why we're ending this is it no longer fits with the theme that I'm wanting to do for the overall arcingness, then it doesn't
It
fit
doesn't.
with our
It
personalities anymore.
Yeah.
So
So
I quit drinking, to be just fully blunt about it. I haven't drank in a drinking corner episode since I think season 2. And we're on season 4 now. And anytime I would pour alcohol for the podcast, I was fake sipping it to pour it out at the end of the episode.
right.
So I was just wasting money buying alcohol, pretending to be drinking.
I I don't drink uh very much. If I do, it is a very like maybe a once a month, but I could also go months, like a month without drinking. And if I do have a drink, it's just like a light beer. I did have a beer not too long ago. Last Friday.
And
But it was
then,
but it was a social thing, and I had one beer and that was it.
yeah. Which, don't get me wrong, there is a beer that I have in my fridge that I'm actually excited to try because we just started getting the Arizona tea hards.
Hmm.
So I'm genuinely want to try it because I love Arizona tea. So it's something, it's more of a curiosity because it's not like I'm never gonna pick up a drink again because I will drink socially
Right.
for a good
Like,
reason. But it felt like we were holding a gun to our head. And I'm gonna use Mr. Retro's words exactly. One of the reasons why we were so hesitant to make episodes was it felt pressured into drinking and trying to be funny. Where
mhm,
most of us who do drink on this channel drink because we have a problem, and that was our coping mechanism,
yes.
which is, to be blatantly honest, where it all stemmed from. So, making the healthy, conscious decision for us and the members of the channel, Retro quit drinking, I quit drinking, David doesn't drink hardly ever, and It's Your Boy is in the process of quitting to drink, which are the main element players of the channel. Oh, and Whiskey and Bry also quit drinking, or is
Which is
quitting drinking.
which is funny with his username.
Yeah. He still drinks, but it's again like you, socially. He
Yeah.
doesn't get drunk and smashed and hammered every weekend like a lot of us used to.
I've only been smashed twice in my life, and one was on camera,
Yes.
unfortunately.
What a I feel like because I know what episode you're referring to, and I was
I
wanting
think
to
it was the
jump.
first episode of this season.
It was, I think, the first episode of the season where we played Cards Against Humanity, and we had the every time you lost a round, you had to take a shot.
Yes,
And there's
I
like
think
so
that's what it
many
was.
stipulations to take a shot, and by the end of the podcast, we were all just fucking wasted.
I had I had a bottle of Jack, brand new, opened it. I had managed to get down the neck, and I was oh god, I was a part way through the label. Like I had gotten to the label. That's a lot of Jack. I don't remember how many shots I had, but I was definitely feeling it. But at a certain point, I had made the conscious decision. I'm like, okay, I think I've had too much, and I I would make it look like I was pouring a shot, but honestly, like the cap was on or something, and then I would make it look like I was taking a shot, but the shot was empty. I do remember that.
Yeah, and it was at that
Oh
point.
no! Oh, I'm losing you.
Oh no! Oh my! Oh no!
Hi, welcome back.
Hi. Yeah, no, my internet connection is apparently being unstable right now. I
Yeah.
I am gonna start shutting some shit off real quick in the background. I think my phone might be on Wi-Fi. Give me a quick second.
Yeah. Oh, Chris.
Am I coming in good?
Yep, you're still good.
Okay, good, 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 good. So, as I was saying, that episode was kind of an eyes wide open moment where we're editing through it. I kind of realized the more drunk we got, the less, I won't say entertaining we got, but the
Funny.
less, the more, so our humor with each other is when we start getting drunk, especially Chris, he, uh, he wants to pick
Not to
fights.
call out anybody specific.
Oh no, I'm calling out it's your boy. Fuck his fat fucking ass. He ruined the first episode of this new podcast, all right? He got drunk and started picking fights. This is the exact reason why we're
Ah,
stopping. But no, it was just we would just start picking on each other or kind of getting out of pocket to the point as like an editor, it struggles that line of being like, is this too risky to kind of post?
right.
Is this hitting that line of, are we being funny or are we being offensive? Which doesn't say like, being offensive and comedy kind of go hand in hand. It just depends on your preference and
To a degree,
how.
yes.
When it comes to comedy, you have to look at things with op- open eyes. You can't take things
Right.
too hard. And I know there's just moments where if Chris or John or I aren't getting a laugh out of something we say or out of like a little jab that we're doing, we'll try to dig that knife deeper. And I just started feeling like
Yeah.
content wise, it wasn't the best direction. Because we had great ideas.
No, I
We
I
had
get that.
wonderful episodes. Like to talk on the history of the channel because we are rated high on Spotify. Like we are a 4-star podcast on Spotify.
Yes, but also it was like 2 reviews.
Still a 4-star podcast on Spotify. I will take my W's where I can, all right? But
Yes.
it got to that point where it's like I want to look at the bigger picture. And it was like season 1 was beautiful. I had so much fun doing it. It was probably the best season we had in terms of just productivity.
Hmm.
Season 2 started off great. I really wanted to finish that episode with Logan Zoshimoshi because we were supposed to do a part 2 because we were on such a good roll that it's like we took a 2.5 hour recording session and had to edit it down, and we still had more to talk about. And I mean, even
Right.
now, just with the Fallout show coming out and just everything else, there's so much more we could talk about still.
Of course.
And it was like we had good ideas in season 2, but we had the second least amount of episodes. Season 3, we came back and it started off rocky, got good in the middle, and then it started getting to that point where we entered the second issue on why we're ending the podcast, which is
Yeah.
scheduling.
Hmm.
And it's not to say like we couldn't make a schedule work. It was the communication aspect of the group channel. And this is purely my opinion. You could weigh in on how you feel and everything on it. but it was the broken promises of trying to schedule at least an hour to 2 hours, 1 day a week, and trying to just make compromises of like, okay, guys, we need to do this. I want to do it this day. Can you guys fill me on how you feel? Message seen, no reply.
Yes.
Okay.
I would. I'm going to defend myself real quick. I would at least reach out to you
Yeah,
of
we
like,
would,
oh yeah,
me and you, and even though you've like left the group chat, I'm not gonna say you left the group channel because obviously, like in the background, we could clearly see your name in your little 6-bit avatar. I still consider you a very big part of the group, even though you're taking your step away. You're working on you, and
I
I'm not
took I
gonna.
took I took a few steps away, but yeah, we'll
Yeah, I'm not gonna
we'll talk
fault you
about
on
that
that
later.
because I still consult you over everything
Yes.
and talk to you about everything. But me and you would communicate. Me and Chris would communicate, which I get not communicating in the group chat was an issue, but I still was having people talk to me. And I will point fingers and call out it was with Retro and working around his schedule to put out an episode, to turn around, and then him just no like message, no call, no like, hey, I'm gonna be late. Hey, I can't make it. To where me and you typically, Chris was not really ever in the parties waiting, but me and you would be kept waiting and would wait and would wait and would wait. Yeah, me and you could have did a Raw Thoughts episode. We could have just came up with
I
something
mean,
on the fly, but
occasionally we would do like something, or we would record the other podcast that is just me and you.
yeah, but which also just goes to speaking like it's now just me and you, but R&R was me and Retro. And
Yeah.
we did one episode, which was the battleship episode. We did two episodes. We did a DCE extended universe episode. We did a
Right.
battleship episode, and then we never came back. So to fill in fillers for the episode, because I wanted to keep making stuff, because if you want people to view and be engaged, you have to continuously keep producing stuff. I
Right.
started doing interviews. And then after the interviews ran out, it was just shelved for a while until me and you picked it up, which is now a me and you podcast, which I love because it still works for R&R, Ryunn and Roz and Ryunn, relax and rehabilitation, whatever you want to consider it.
Right.
But being able to work with you on that and we have the clear communication sets, I feel is going to be very good for the production and the value of that podcast. And it's something that I wished, and I've even expressed to both Chris and John that it was like I wanted for the podcast, which I keep getting met with the same thing of like, you know, as Chris puts it, if you don't want to do it anymore, just say it.
Right.
Because we filmed a bonus episode for the new podcast coming to this channel, which is just Nerdgasmic Podcast. We almost canceled it last night because we didn't think John was going to show up because it hit the time that he was like, "Yeah, I'll be ready at 9." It's
Mm.
9:15. We're like, okay, we'll message John, see if he's still awake. No message back. It's hitting like 9:30. We're like, okay, maybe he ain't gonna do this. We're just not gonna do it. About 9:45, Chris is like, you know what? Me and you will just do it, and me and you will talk about Star Wars. Like, fuck this. We'll just do it us. To which the now running theme, even though we're still picking up aspects of the drinking corner, um, it wasn't until like 10:15 that John messaged Chris being like, yeah, I'll be on in a second, which doesn't bug me none. But I feel like as one of the head people, or at least, since I am the guy that produces, edits, plans it, I should be the one that is talked to about it. That is the point of the group chat. Like,
Right.
yes, it's also a hub for us to send memes, send gifs, like other little nerd facts, communicate on organizing like gameplays, stuff, and all that. It's also the number one way to reach out on when we're producing and making stuff.
Yeah, and this I'm gonna jump in right here. One to give you a chance to breathe, so that
Yeah.
way you don't have to be constantly talking.
I'm gonna take a
So,
drink.
um, I well, God, now that I'm actually supposed to be talking or jumping in, of course now my brain's like, woo. So I'm gonna focus in on the group chat, and also this is going to kind of explain why you guys haven't really seen me much, but also you guys haven't really been producing much in the way of content, so people might not have realized I've been missing.
So
I think it was in February or March.
I think in February is when you officially left the group chat, but in terms of March was when me and you stopped producing content together.
Yeah, so I oh, might have been January. I think it started in January, but anyway, um,
Timeline's a little fuzzy.
timeline is a little fuzzy. It's been a long. Everything's happened, and everything's been like go go go.
Go, go. Yeah.
So, um, mentally, I wasn't doing well in November. I like I said, I am working on bettering myself, but with my depression, the emotion that I've actually been dealing with has been like a shorter fuse. Um, if you knew me personally, you would know that for the most part, I have a lot of patience, and I can like if I am being bothered, I can kind of like just bite it and move on, and I don't react to it. But like I said, I've been getting a shorter fuse as of late, and the the planning for okay, yeah, we're going to do the podcast in 2 days. It's like okay, perfect. Because of my busy schedule, now I know Friday night at 9 o'clock, I need to make sure that my schedule is open. Or in some cases, we were trying to record on like a Thursday or a Wednesday, whenever we were able to get people together and like scheduled. It's like, okay, this is the time that we're supposed to meet up. So I would be ready. I'd be sitting at my computer. Um, when I had stuff I was supposed to be grading or something I'm supposed to be working on. I'm like, all right, I'm here when I'm supposed to be. Everybody's kind of looking at the chat but not saying anything other than you saying, okay, yeah, we're starting at this time. So now it's okay, just sitting here waiting. Me and you are shooting messages back and forth. You don't necessarily have the Zoom call up yet, but we're kind of just waiting, and then we would just continue to wait, and then finally it's like okay, nobody's responding anymore. Well, like what's going on? So then me and you would uh attempt to record something, or we would attempt to play a game, or I would go, hey, listen, it's now midnight and I have work in the morning, and I'm like, I can't stay up any later. And this was like a reoccurring thing
It was like
that
every single week.
every single week, every couple of days, and nobody was communicating. And the lack of communication was really starting to bother me, and it was really starting to like shorten my fuse even more. But I was trying not to blow up on the group because I understand that people get busy and things happen. But they weren't even like explaining why they weren't showing up anymore. And then the group chat was only like sharing memes. And I understand I was also sharing memes. I'm not saying I wasn't participating. A couple times I had kind of snapped to the group. I'm like, guys, listen, there's 12 people in this group. Nine of you saw the messages. Nobody's talking.
I will butt in. There are a small select few of people that get away with that in the group, one of which I will point out to being Sane Assassin,
Right.
which like one Sane Assassin, Whiskey and Bry are two of the two people that get the most leeway. Whiskey and Bry has a 3 hour time difference from us.
Yeah.
So getting him to do anything is like pulling teeth. but like anything he is able to be there for, we appreciate. I know he and I have been talking adamantly on wanting to work stuff in the schedule. It's just not 75% of the group has night jobs. The other 25% have day jobs. One of the three people with a day job has a day job that kind of spams into our afternoonish time to evening.
Right.
So
I get that. I do.
some people it was a reasonable excuse. For others, it's like I get it on getting off work at like 10:30 because I used to do the night shift. I would understand that after work fatigue of you don't want to get home to immediately throw on a headset, jump into a call and be like, "Hi guys," and have that
No, I
energy,
get that.
which I
I
get.
get that too. I do get that too. But it's the lack of communication that was mostly getting to me
Yeah.
because nobody was communicating other than you being like, "Hey, like we need to get the next episode out. Like what time would work with everybody? Like when's your next available kind of times?" And
I
just nobody was talking, and it was
I think another key aspect that really kind of upset both of us on this aspect too is with the drinking corner, and it will be another reoccurring theme that's semi prominent in the new podcast. But we rotated hosts
yes,
instead of everybody just co-hosting and bringing something together. We did a semi competition style, which completely took a turn from what it was supposed to be because the podcast was never meant to be a game show. We just kind of ended up doing a bunch of mini game shows, which by no means was not entertaining because it was fun. But I
right,
it sucked when we would get a person that was meant to host. So it's we're setting up for a particular person's podcast for him not to show up, and we would have nothing as a filler episode.
right.
And my frustrations for it exactly is I pay to do this. It's not something we're paid to do. I put money out to do it. And so for like months, and I know I complained to you a lot about it, but it'd be like, dude, I pay $20 a month to run podcasts. I pay for the editing software. I pay for all this stuff to not use it for the aspects of what we're doing. And it's
Absolutely.
like, I even talked to the group. I'm just like, what are we doing? It's like, everybody always has these ideas. They're always coming to me with like when we would work together or we'd be talking with each other and be like, "Oh, I have this idea that'd be great for the podcast and I can't wait to do it." Great. So excited to do it. Next week you're hosting. Let's get it done. Like let's work with me. We'll do it.
Right.
Yeah, man, we'll be ready at 9 o'clock, 9:30. I don't work today. I'll be ready. 9:30, no text message. 9:45, nothing. 10 o'clock, not answering phone calls, not answering text messages. And it got to the point where it was creating animosity in a boss standpoint. Like looking at it in a managerial point of view, like I was getting frustrated from, bless you.
Thank you.
You're, uh, thank you. I forget how to do your welcome. I know that's please.
Yes. Oh, by the way, I know I just went like that. I was not doing the flip off thing.
Fuck you
No,
as
I was not
normal.
doing that.
Okay.
That was my hand just happened to be here, and I was going, "Thank you." I think "thank you" is like that, right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, sorry, tangent.
Hello. Nice. I gotta remember. I'm learning sign language right now for my job.
I should learn it. Anyway, please continue.
But from a managerial point of view, it was frustrating with trying to be organized because, like, again, you know this more than anybody else, but I know it's being edited out by the green screen. But I have a notebook here that I
Yes.
constantly was writing notes, schedules. Like, I treated this how I should treat certain type of YouTube videos where it's like it's planned out. I think I would excel at that. That was something I wanted to talk to you about too. But I'm very anal about scheduling
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
having the plan, because it's like that's one of the aspects as producer is like I want to make sure we're producing content. Nothing pisses me off more than when we can't produce the content because people are either upset, tired, or just grouchy when we're not communicating to make the ends meet, or just clarifying like, hey, I'm not going to make it for this episode, go ahead and do like a raw thoughts, or have somebody else host, or do a filler episode, anything like that, because we had ideas for filler episodes, we had
Sure. Yeah.
lists, we have a Google Drive that's shared between everybody with ideas from each member, and even our special guest members had ideas in there,
Hmm.
people who aren't part of the group but would pop in for episodes are honorary members.
And I'm gonna jump in. That being said, and you guys are probably thinking, well, if you guys were waiting that long, why didn't you just record the episode? Like, if you discovered, okay, the person's not coming in, why not like record something? Well, by the time that would happen, it's like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and some of us have either a really early shift in the morning, or we have work that starts early for us. And
Or
so we
just
need
the
to like
simple
go back.
fact we're in sour moods.
Or in sour moods, or it's just been a super long day and we are just exhausted. And we had just enough energy to at least do the podcast, but at that point of now, our moods have just been soured even more by lack of communication.
Because
So,
like I agree with you on that part too, where it's like the sour mood of lack of communication. Because like especially with me, I wrote notes for every podcast. I
mhm,
could scroll all the way back to notes from season one, where it's like I had footnotes and like side tangents like written down, so I had a clear line of thought on what it was I wanted to talk about. And when you put that much effort into wanting to make something, and then you have to like scrap it to do something else that you're not prepped for, you're less inclined to want to do that. Especially when you spend hours. And I mean, I would spend 1 to 2 hours every day leading up to the episode, or I
right.
would cram it all in before the episode. And to have that be for nothing was just debilitating.
No, absolutely.
So instead of talking about the negative, I want to kind of shift gears a little bit.
Well,
What was
yes.
some positive things you'd have to say about the drinking corner? Like any fun memories, any episode that sticks out to you particularly?
So, I mean, we had some good, we did have good moments, and there was good things that did come out of the podcast. Um, Being able to hang out with you guys, even though I now live like 4 hours away, it was it was nice. Being able to see your faces was also very nice when people had their cameras on. Uh,
Chris.
not
Still a
not pointing out
problem now.
any, not talking about any one person. Um, but like the ones that come up to my mind, you guys had great ideas, but the ones that I came up with are what stick out to me.
So I asked both Retro and It's Your Boy this question too. Mr. Retro has one in particular, and it's still my favorite episode too.
It's
Points or no
the
points?
Yeah, the deal or no deal idea that I stole from Distractable.
Yes. So that is both mine and John's one of our favorite episodes. We had
Of
a
course.
lot of fun doing it. John John went on record to say you were one of the better hosts
Thanks.
because your ideas were always fun. He
I
rated
tried.
me he rated me second best, but his least favorite because mine was all research backed. So
Yeah, that's fair.
you had more of the game show aspect of the channel. I had more of the talk show aspect of the channel. And then John was just kind of game show card throw in, kind of hard to do it in a format of being a talk show, but because
Sorry.
he would
I
do
have
the
like two
more
things. I have like three things going on. I'm so sorry.
he did more of the visual episodes. Retro did,
Hmm.
which makes it hard because in a podcast viewpoint, you don't see what we're doing. You can't see David in his luscious blue hair eating pistachios, or me being very
Pistachios are
blurry.
delicious, okay,
Oh,
guys?
dude, no! Like 90% of the times we did episodes, I had pistachios and like Mountain Dew Code Red next to me.
I found so normally I get the wonderful pistachio brand, the black bag, but dude, they're so expensive.
They're like eight something, I think, down here.
They're like $10 here.
Ooh,
Yeah. But we were at if you want to sponsor us, by the way, you can.
I
We were
mean,
at
I think it's a little
we,
too late for
we're
that
at
now. Last
well,
episode, you guys, but if you want to sponsor us,
well,
emails in the bio.
sponsor the group, not necessarily the podcast. Um, we went to Trader Joe's and they have the a dry roasted and salted pistachios, and it was like $6-7.
Ooh, that
And
sounds
like,
good.
I don't know if you can see the size of this bag, by the way,
That's pretty decent.
dude, they're delicious, and I
I'm gonna
can't
go let
stop.
my cat out real quick because he's trying to scratch the paneling off the wall. Whiskey, go, go. Whiskey, go, go. One cat leaves, the other cat enters. I
I dropped the
think
pistachio.
points or no points is one of my favorites. The Fallout episode we did with Zoshimoshi is like up there. And then
Yeah.
you weren't part of this episode, but we did I think it was called What Makes a Horror Game was the title of the episode, and it was Retro and It's Your Boy and I, and we talked about different outlets of horror video games as we took the best aspects of everything we talked about, and it
Uh-huh.
dove into me going to try to create that game, which I didn't create the game, but I do have like the concept arts and like blueprint designs for it, like
Mm-hmm.
the game designs. I just never went to Unreal Engine to start working on it, but it was supposed to be something that we worked on and would keep bringing back throughout the season as we made progress on it, because we were just gonna create a game through the podcast. And that was one of the more fun episodes for me to host.
Right.
I feel like we had a missed opportunity with Retro's Clue, because again, Retro did podcasts that were more visually stimulating than audibly. And I feel like if we were to have dived into planning ahead of the Clue episode and kind of being like, okay, we're going to do accents for this character and we're going to have more dialogue for it. Because a lot of the time it's just us sitting there just thinking as we're playing the game.
Right. Hey, Tim.
Yes.
The last drinking corner episode, without looking it up, do you happen to remember when it posted or what it was?
It was, I want to say, the start of the year. And I know, I think I recorded an episode and never published it. So I think the last one to go on air would be a Clue episode.
It was a end of the year podcast
So I
for
never put out.
season for season 3, episode 15.
Are you looking at this on YouTube or Spotify?
YouTube.
Let me check Spotify real quick. I think I never did the YouTube upload for season 1
4.
or season 4, episode 1. Let me just vastly scroll over to this. No, I'm not looking for distractible. Show me my podcast.
The last one that went on Spotify was end of year, posted January 5th.
Aw. So the last episode I looked at on Spotify of The Drinking Corner was what makes a horror game.
So, are you talking about your the favorite horror games one?
No, it was literally one that me, Retro, and Chris came together on, and we just talked about we talked about mechanics of horror games, like whether or not it's stealth, you can't fight back, if the monsters are like Lovecraftian creatures, ghosts, aliens, bugs,
Gotcha,
settings,
gotcha.
mood, all that. And then we talked about like horror games
Oh,
that
you
we
know what it
think
was?
did horror right.
Me and you had an R&R where we talked about horror games as well, right?
I maybe
Because I think that's what I was thinking of. Because I'm like, I remember talking about horror games relatively recently with you, or like podcast wise.
Yeah, I
Sorry,
think
guys,
we
we're
may have did an R and
we're
R
a
that
little
also
distracted.
got scrapped. I think the last two podcasts or the last podcast we filmed for both podcasts, I just never released or never edited.
So they're now part of the lost episodes of the.
Listen, listen, I will always and forever love season one, episode two being a lost episode,
The lost episode of the Drinking Corner, the episode that the people never got to see. Well,
which
actually,
was in of
briefly got to see.
itself,
No, it was out. That's right.
it was
It
out for a day. But we were hit with so many fucking copyright claims, restrictions. It was banned in Germany. And what's sad about it is it was Noah's only episode in the series. And it was a good episode. It was fun. It's just, I knew it from the start that we'd get flagged showing the content. Ugh.
yeah, this is the unfortunate thing. Sorry, I'm trying to. I have not. My desk got completely like reshuffled since I did the last podcast, and I don't have everything where it's supposed to be anymore.
It's okay. I know you can't see it on camera right now because like too many lights are shining and whiting me out, but my whole head is just red, and it's starting to get to that itchy phase of being sunburnt.
For those of you who can't see, I'm lighting up my hair to reveal a blue hair.
I have no hair for all of those who can't see.
Anyway, sorry. We went on a little tangent there. Um, yeah. So the I would say the favorite episode that was not mine because I mean I was just very proud of everything I did, and truth be told, can't take all the credit. The best one wasn't originally my idea. It was literally I was listening to Distractable while driving back home from Northern California, with the wife in the car. I was like, hey, you know what? I can do this. This would be a good idea. Um, and then my wife has given me a couple of ideas.
Oh, it
Um,
was Katie's episode, huh?
what, what are you talking about?
Because you did an episode that was Katie's idea. That was also a really good episode, but I can't remember what the theme or topic was. Or maybe that was one we were going to do and never got to. Maybe
Maybe I'm checking the podcast right now.
that'd probably be a good idea for me too. I
All right.
also like another thing that low key pisses me off is in this final season, I put in a lot of work into it, even though I knew it was dying. Because I went and paid an animator to do an opening sequence too, that
Right.
we only used for like the later half of season three.
Yeah.
Which
See,
a
like,
link to her content will be in a description below. So that way, if you guys like the animated opening that is in this, it's very simplistic as it's just neon signs, but credit where credit is due. She put in a lot of hard work for it, so I'd like to at least give her credit one last time.
Right. Let's see. Because we talked about collectibles, but that wasn't mine. Um, you had a couple of raw thoughts and lone thoughts.
And I'm
There is
looking at holiday ones, Cards Against Humanity. I feel like the D&D episode,
we
if we
so
worked more on that, it would have been so fucking good.
it it had it had the possibility. I think what I had talked about doing at one point was to do another D&D episode, but I be the DM.
Yeah.
Not saying that he did a bad job, but he kind of alluded to the fact there was an ambush by saying, "Okay, now we're on to the elven ambush." And it's like, we're not supposed to know that. I'm like, huh, maybe I should roll perception. Is there something coming? You know, am I going to be metagaming? That was not a cough metagaming. That was a I had to cough and was saying metagaming. I'm trying to
Um,
figure out which ones are mine though. Uh, Lompa,
so if you look at the description, at least I'm on Spotify looking at the descriptions, I always mention who's hosting right at the start. So it's like Razgriz, the BossFoss hosts this week's episode, Ryunn Eldred hosts. I think another one of my favorite hosting episodes was the game theory episode when Matt Pat retired.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also just because, like, again, Matt Pat is one of the creators that I look up to in terms of the way that I do note taking for episodes
Right.
because I am very intrigued in the way game theory does their episodes and I really love it. And I've thought about doing videos in that aspect, but I also didn't want to be just another trend follower and making those kind of videos, even though I do think I would like excel in it.
So I'm gonna list off. I'm totally changing the subject. I'm so sorry. I just my brain's on a tangent.
No, you're good.
I'm gonna do a quick list off of the podcasts that I did host. So I hosted a holiday Jeopardy, and the reason I'm laughing is the very next episode you stole my idea. I can't see you, but I imagine there it is. Yep, you're smiling. There we go.
I was like, hide my face.
So I was so proud of myself because I had managed to find a way to make a Jeopardy game. And I was super proud of myself. And in the very next episode, freaking Ryunn steals my idea.
What makes it even funnier is if you watch the episode too, everything was exactly the fucking same. Up to the detail of the board and everything. The questions were different, but I
Yes.
quite literally stole the whole aspect of his episode.
And then we have sound video game soundtracks.
I think that was a really good one.
So that one was my idea. And I don't remember what had inspired me. I think it was just like video game soundtracks kept popping up on my Spotify. And then we have mods because I tend to mod my games. And then there's a few podcasts that just do not include me.
So, what do you think would be, I don't want to say the worst or cringiest, but the our unhinged episodes? Because I feel like we have a couple of unhinged episodes where it was just whatever was in the air that day just had us not acting like ourselves.
Date night. Um,
Okay, yeah, date night was one. One of my favorites outside of the Cards Against Humanity game we all got absolutely shit faced on.
um,
The brain rot update.
Yeah, before we address that, Tim, we need to address the fact that you have a mistake on the Spotify.
I know it. Or which mistake are you referring to?
April 18th, 2022, you posted the same podcast twice.
Did I? 20,
Urban
that's
Legends and
what.
Marvel Feud.
23, December, October, September, August, July, June. What was it again?
April 18th, 2022, oh God, what was it? Yeah, it was the Urban Legends and a Marvel Feud.
Huh. You know what it was? It's probably when RSS that I use, that I pay for to use to distribute our podcast episodes, they did a thing where they because I used to upload through Spotify directly, and I think that was around the time where the first one was uploaded through Spotify. But
Hmm.
when I uploaded through RSS, they finally enabled the Spotify feature for their distrib distributing,
Right.
so it got redistributed.
You know, there's only 5 episodes in 2023.
Yep.
Hmm.
Again, season one was my absolute favorite season because we just had so many good episodes, but it was also the busiest season.
Yes, because we were on top of it.
We were on top of all of it, which is
So,
funny because it was also my most busiest time of my life because I was doing work and going to school and doing this,
mhm.
and it felt like I had no time, but we were still getting everything done compared to when I finally had the time to make better episodes. We just never did them because nobody else could get together.
Yes. All right, let's get back on track because I got a little distracted there, and I'm so sorry. Tangents and whatnot. You would ask me my favorite episodes, right?
Yeah.
I did enjoy the Fallout one, um, just because of how in depth we actually got it, and then
I also
oh,
I feel like we both genuinely
Yoshi,
learned Exoshimoshi
yeah,
or Logan.
Logan, the he was very knowledgeable. Like we were all three very knowledgeable, and it was nice to just have like this in depth conversation.
Yeah,
Um,
especially since he's very knowledgeable about the original Fallout games.
right.
Was really nice because one, two, tactics, Brotherhood of Steel, and all that I really didn't know before talking to him. Well, like Shady Sands, fuck, and all that.
Right. Anyway,
Who do
what's
you
on your mind?
think outside of you, if you can't pick you, who do you think was the best host? Because we do have a few winners. Because Retro won one, you
Mhm.
won one. We didn't. Was it was Retro who won season one?
Yes, we
We
did not
didn't
have
have a winner for season two.
because there was only 5 episodes.
You won season three,
Yes.
and then you forfeited your win to Chris. Oh my god. Oh my god, the run. Oh, it dawned on me. Chris
Hmm.
never got his episode.
Chris never got his episode. The comedy of him never having, well, never winning.
Never winning. He finally wins because he won the Clue episode, but he never got his episode.
Nope, because we canceled the podcast.
Well, it's been like 4 months and he never came up with an idea and all this other shit. Um,
That's a nice fact. I would
damn.
say because I think what you're asking me to reiterate the question, you're asking me who I feel was the best host besides myself. if I can't say myself. I'm not saying myself. I'm not that narcissistic. I would say you because of the amount of effort that you would actually put in, other than stealing my one episode idea.
I still my favorite one of my favorite hosting episodes that I feel like just got done dirty because I don't want to say I was the only person that put effort into it, but I put detailed effort into it. Was the video game adaptation um what's the word I'm looking for it? This is gonna bug me.
I think you just call it video game adaptations.
No, it's one of our more recent Pitch. Don't know why
Oh.
Pitch was eluding me, but it was when we pitched our own video game adaptation where you had to choose a studio, whether it was live action or animated, and then
Hmm.
you pitched either the first season or the movie.
Right.
And like in my head, because we just got off the coattails of like Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, The Last of Us TV show, and like The Witcher TV show. And like we're starting to jump into the era of like good video game adaptations. But with the Resident Evil Netflix series not doing so good, I was in that mind space of being like, how would you guys do it? Because I know how I would do it. I've had this conversation with myself before where I do believe like with the one desire of wanting to direct or make a show, which has always been in the background of my mind, I feel like I
Right.
would be able to do a video game adaptation great. And I went into it full throttle, had a cast set up on who I'd want to cast for it, detailed episodes, like it was an 8 episode HBO Max series. And then when it came to everybody else, you didn't make me mad as much as like Chris and Retro, because you did have more detail to yours, but you also provided more than one show, I believe. And then
Like three, I think.
Chris pissed me off the most because his was literally just pulled out of his ass in the moment. I'm
Hmm.
playing Red Dead Redemption right now. I think a Red Dead Redemption show would be good. Just copy and paste the game because it's already so cinematic. And I was just like, you lose every episode for a reason, Chris. Like there's a reason why you lose every episode.
Right.
And it was something like it was that brainchild just being completely just shat on. And
Right.
it was like my favorite episode, but also my least favorite episode because of the outcome.
I mean, if you want me to choose like my least favorite episode,
Yeah, what would be your least favorite?
give me a second to like scroll through. I do remember the video game adaptation. I had a few different ideas because I couldn't settle on one, but also I do know that I didn't go into like a ton of detail. Um, Honestly, I'm probably gonna go with the D&D one because when I heard we were playing D&D, I was like, this is gonna be cool. Like I had just had my first session of D&D, so I'm like, this is gonna be cool. I'm super excited. And then the way he was talking about it beforehand, I was like, okay, he has some experience. He's like, he's played D&D. This is going to be a really cool, unique experience. And then we got to
90% of the video was us sitting there waiting for him to like
get his shit together.
get the wheels moving on it.
Yes. So
I think a
I,
roll 20 D&D session would be fun for Nerdgasmic podcast, but it would be something we'd have to cuz I went and bought the Fallout version of D&D through roll 20 because I was going to set it up through the
I
drinking
remember.
corner for us to do, and I was working on the story for it. And I have a folder on my desktop that is literally labeled Fallout D&D that has everything for it because I was like downloading images to make the boards and all that.
Right.
There's a lot of planning that went nowhere. And like the more I think about it, the more pissed I'm getting because it's frustrating, but it's I don't know.
You do know. Stop that.
There's
Stop that.
looking into the future to kind of to draw things kind of towards an end here so we're not just babbling and reminiscing on to draw things into a future. um Drinking Corner's ending. Obviously that's the whole theme of this. R&R is being
No, there are.
resetted.
R&R is being reconfigured.
Configured. So when we do a new episode of R&R, it is going to be labeled as season 1 episode 1. The R&R that is beforehand is done. Like I am not making anything else for it. There is going to be a completely separate playlist on the Ryunn Eldred YouTube channel that will be R&R podcast. I am going to be changing the original name to like R&R old. We have a new logo design, which was very beautifully created by your wife.
Okay, I did send it to you.
I do not have a version of it. I do need it resent.
Spoilers.
It didn't even show. It just completely green screened you out.
No, I know. I know. That was like why I was saying spoilers.
Ta-da!
You can
Yeah.
kind of see it. So
We're
she
in
said
the
she sent it to
process.
you.
Maybe it's in my email and I start it and I'm just forgetting at the given moment. I'll have to check my email because the
Yeah,
more I
go
think
ahead.
about it, I think she did. But I also think I might be thinking of the resume that she helped me with as well.
It might be. Anyway.
But either which way, we're going through a bunch of redesign. We're reworking. We're changing the R&R podcast in a way to where it's more structured because I want to do things deliberately. And if I've learned anything, which anything you do in life should be a learning lesson, whether you succeed or
Absolutely.
fail. If you fail, learn from your mistakes and start again. Never give up on your dream. I want a more structured podcast. I know I am not going to get that with Nerdgasmic Podcast. As much as I want to try, I just know between me, John, Chris, everybody else that's going to be in the group channel, I know no matter how much planning, preparation, notes, everything I take, it's not going to be structured. But as I talked to you before the hand, we're coming up with ideas on what we're going to do. We're going to have, as of right now, the working theory is we're going to have 2 topics of discussion. A topic that Roz will bring in and a topic that I will bring in that he'll find interesting, I'll find interesting, and then in between we'll have segments. The segment aspect of things I plan to turn into YouTube shorts as well as part of the podcast to promote the podcast. So that way we are having more structure, more planned. Things aren't just on whim. We have a clear line of thought. I love segues. I love getting off topic. It's a beautiful part of conversations. But sometimes,
Structure. I gotcha.
structure. I meant to open that and my phone just was like, you'll like it and not look at it.
You just sent me a shit emoji.
Is that our like emoji
Yeah.
for our chat? But structure. Having structure is something I want to do because even though podcasting isn't where my passion lies with content creating, I find an immense amount of joy doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where I want to focus in the coming year. Even though I want to say what the group channel's been around for 8 years, we've actively worked on it for maybe
Unfortunately, yeah.
4 to 5. In terms of, so I'll get into a little bit of the behind the scenes because as you mentioned in the beginning of this, we haven't been producing content. I
Uh-huh.
think the last few things that actually come out for the group channel has been my Let's Plays of Batman Arkham and some Outlast videos because I've been trying to keep up to date with Outlast between me, Brian, and Chris. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just double checking my facts here, real quick.
It's okay. I am too.
Content. So, yeah, the last short was during Thanksgiving. I have a draft for the second to last episode of Batman Arkham City. And then we have a Outlast Trials and The Walking Dead, which have been what's actively being thrown onto the channel is Outlast, Walking Dead, and Batman. Mr. Retro has been working on Red Dead Redemption 2 videos because it's his
Mm-hmm.
first playthrough, but he has like 7 kids and a very busy life, so I don't hold him to a schedule because I know I'll never get that.
Mm-hmm. You
In
also
the
have the NFL.
pipeline, so I'm scrapping NFL altogether this season because NFL 26 just got announced, and I think it's coming direct to Game Pass. If not, I'm not gonna really worry on it. I'm trying to figure things out because Chris and I, Chris, okay, Chris has stepped up significantly. It hasn't shown because I'm in the process of editing the work me and Chris have been doing, but Chris and I have a couple of series that we are more than one game into.
Mm-hmm.
So Chris has never played Gears of War. So we are very far into pre-recording episodes of Gears of War.
Okay.
We've taken a little bit of a break because I have not wanted to get to a certain game until we figure out whether or not the rumor mill is true next month
We'll
because
see. We will see.
there's been a lot of Gears of War talk. I
Yes.
am also actively trying out a new thing with Let's Play series, and I'm making Gears of War the first series in that playlist that I'm working through for it. So we have a lot of work being done on Gears of War. Chris is bringing out the Far Cry series, in which we went through very painstakingly the original Far Cry game.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been playing it in tandem because we're just gonna go through them together. But Chris has a deep passion for Far Cry, and he is currently in Far Cry 2 of those as I'm editing them out. And then to fit with the sports theme of stuff, Chris is also going to be working on some UFC content because he
Mm-hmm.
has a massive passion for UFC, which has also sparked me to go into my sports passion. And I'm going to be bringing out content for WWE 2K, which I've been working on because they brought in a new feature where you could do GM mode online against your friends.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like with Madden NFL, where we have our franchises and we compete against each other to be the best football team.
Right.
2K25 now has it to see who could run the best show, in which you do the superstar draft and everything, and you compete to see who could get the better ratings, make the most money, hold the most titles, everything. Which I am super excited to do because Chris is agreeing to be a part of that with me. John said he would, but I am holding my breath.
Don't hold your breath.
I would extend the invitation out to you, but I don't want to push you into making content just yet because I am respecting your journey of healing. Because I do think that's important. Because as you did mention, like you hit your burnout point, and like rightfully so. On top of just the scheduling conflicts, I know I had you on Halo, Dead Rising. I had you on multiple Let's Plays. Because anything that fell through with anybody else, I went to you on.
Right. And
So any
I would step up and I'm like, yeah, I'll help you get an episode out, but like I'm not supposed to be the
the
permanent
person.
person.
And a lot of the times, like I acknowledge I was getting you to do games that aren't your forte,
Yes.
and I wasn't returning that, like accepting full blame. We were doing everything I wanted to do and not anything you wanted to do, which was another thing I wanted to talk to you about off camera and everything. But I'm trying to open up and not be. It's really cathartic. Am I saying that word right?
Close enough. I'm not going to uh,
It's
be anal
revealing to
about it.
see the similarities between me and a previous boss on
Mhm.
being a stickler for things, where it's like I really hated these aspects of one of my old jobs and how we were micromanaged, to realize that I was doing it here in frustration as well.
Mhm.
Not in the aspects that I treat you guys like shit or anything, but I also realize like a lot of the times it's what I want to do.
Mhm.
Which is why it's like I've opened up with like Chris, and Chris was like, I want to do Far Cry. So I've fully supported it. I bought him the Far Cry games. Was like, I'll buy them if you stream them. You stream them, I'll edit them, I'll even do them in tandem with you. I was like, we'll do it together. We'll talk about it as we're going through each level side by side, going through the same shit. And it's been a blast. And it's like the entire time I was thinking about doing that with him, I legitimately was thinking about SnowRunner and just a bunch of games that like you really wanted to do and had the passion. And it was doing Far Cry 1 put me in that perspective. You'll be surprised too, because Chris got me to break one of my long running like rules too. And it was like
Uh-huh.
I never gave you that opportunity. Because I mean, you got me Police Simulator, which was fun. I did enjoy it, but we never made content on it like you wanted to. We never did Snow Runner. We never did Power Wash Simulator. We didn't do a lot of things that made me feel bad on that aspect.
That's okay, man. I've never held it against you. I myself, I've we're way off topic for the record, but
We took a very big segue. We were woo, and just kept on
um,
riding into the sunset.
I I understood why you weren't wanting to play those games. And for the record, there was other games as well. It wasn't just Power Wash Simulator and like Snow Runner. There was other games that I was like, this would be like good content, but I also wasn't putting in the effort to bring it to the channel. And not necessarily games that both me and you could play. Like I'm like single player games that I'm just like I don't want to record it. Um, but I didn't want to force you into these games because I know they're not always entertaining. They're really boring if you're playing them solo,
Which
honestly.
I think was where my aspect laid into, was I tried playing a lot of these games by myself.
And like I would use
SnowRunner was the one that pissed me off the most. So okay,
so
I will say
SnowRunner
that I had
it
animosity.
I would play SnowRunner. This was before Power Wash Simulator came out. I would play it to literally just like numb my brain because it's get the truck from point A to point B, pick up object from point B, take it to point C. Simple things. Yes, sometimes I would end up getting the truck in a really awkward position, or I would flip the truck, or I would break the truck somehow. But I would always figure out a way to fix it. Power Wash Simulator ended up kind of taking over that spot of, hey, I just need something to just like numb my brain, but not take drugs numb my brain, just something that's not going to require any thinking. And that's where Power Wash Simulator came in. But Power Wash Simulator, I was also pitching as like, hey, if we're just having a talk, like right now, this conversation where you're attempting to apologize to me and I'm totally blowing it off by being like, nah, bro, you're good. It was all me. Uh, I was just meaning we don't have to do it to where it's just like a me and you looking at each other in a camera. We could also be playing. Power Wash Simulator and having content.
I
Anyway,
think the issue that also lied with it too is when I play those type of brain numbing games,
that numbs your brain.
I'm usually laid back. Oh, I'm in boxers, so I probably should. It's like, I'm not wearing pants, so I probably
Censored.
shouldn't do this.
That's okay. I'm not wearing pants either. Every
Oh,
time you see me,
we're
like,
content creators. We don't wear pants.
dude, it's hot in here, okay?
It is like 80
I'm
degrees in
also
my house.
sitting on a towel because I'm like, I don't want the hot, I don't want the leather like sticking to my leg.
But I would start falling asleep as we're playing Power Wash Simulator, and I'd just be like, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
also, we were playing it at like fucking midnight.
It's looking back at it now, I have an interest in doing them because I think I've talked to you about it where I was like, I kind of want to do Sims in the background because
No, was not
whenever
me.
Chris would do podcast episodes, he never had his camera in there.
Right,
And it's like when I'm editing, I usually like if I have picture representations, I just throw them up in his little box.
right,
I'm just like, there you guys go. Here's something for you. Visual representation to the people who watch the vidcast versions of these. And then I was like, you know what? I was like, I want to go through and I want to make like all of us in Sims and then just in podcast episodes have them doing their shit. So that way, for people who aren't engaged, just looking at us like smile, laugh at each other, eat our snacks, or whatever it is we're doing when we don't have like an actual game that's being played and recorded,
right.
there is a visual thing you could watch and see.
That's what I was getting at with Power Wash Simulator.
And that's what I'm just now realizing. It's probably going to be something we end up doing on R&R, to be blatantly honest. But I don't know. There is a lot of growth in closing out this chapter that I find that makes me feel like it wasn't a waste. Cuz I before very recently I used to look at the money, the time, the effort spent into doing the podcasts as I wasted my time because I was
Right.
so fixated on the aspect of what we're not doing
Hmm.
instead of looking at back at what we did do. I didn't look at each episode as a success or as a job done. I looked at it as we did this, but this irritated me, so I want to change this.
Right.
And it's through not doing this for such a stretch of time that I was kind of like, I like this aspect of it. I wish we would have did this aspect. I would have changed this if I did it this way. I do think like with R&R just as a good example, unless you have something to say cuz you're kind of
I think I saw your cat behind you, the other side of you, on your bed.
No, I just recently did my bed sheets and everything and it's piled up on the corner cuz I have to like stretch it across.
Okay.
The sheets like slightly too
My
small for
apologies
the
for getting
bed.
distracted.
No,
I
it's
do
all
not
good.
have anything to add.
I don't think I have a cat in here at this given moment. Um, where was I going with this?
R&R.
I know with R&R to be an example, um I I want to have a schedule of when we upload
Yeah.
because like everything I watch releases on a regular time frame, which
Yes.
was the whole aspect of Drinking Corner. That was like one of the original things since season 1. The reason why season 1 worked so well was we had it established every Thursday we would do an episode. Granted, granted, back then, me and John both had Thursdays off. We
Hmm.
didn't have a conflicting work schedule, which is why I like weekends. Because I know for a fact, like with R&R, we work a similar job. I know we both don't work weekends. I do know you have a life outside of work because you know
Unfortunately.
you're married and everything else. You're not as at home as I am because you have plans with your family. But I do feel like Saturdays, Friday night to Saturday would be good recording days because I could easily edit and publish within one night
Mm-hmm.
because I have that work ethic to do it.
Mm-hmm.
To release an episode every Monday. If not every Monday, every other Monday.
So I'm going to jump in. This actually goes back to something you just mentioned, which is structure, which is also something that was bothering me about the podcast. And I know we said we weren't going to be negative anymore, but this is
You
just to
can't
like
have positive reinforcement without negative interaction.
right. Well, this is a learning thing. Like, did it succeed the way we wanted? No. But it did succeed in some aspects, and we have learned from this. We're going to be taking what we have learned and we are improving on it. So in my eyes, this podcast was not a failure. It did not succeed the way we wanted, but it's not a failure. And from it, you you sir have finally learned the thing that I have been dying for you to learn, which is you need structure. Which
It's
it's something that we've tried to do. It's like, hey, we want to have the episodes out these days. We need to have them recorded this day.
I think you'll be very pleased with me because this is something I started doing this year. Because you know how every year I do like a YouTube New Year's resolution and everything, because I would always talk about it every season of the podcast.
Yes.
Give me give me 1 second. So I have the journal here. I'm flipping back because I'm in the
Oh
notes
God, I'm
aspect.
I just realized what I'm doing in 12 hours. I'm so sorry.
You got something in 12 hours?
Ghost of Yotai's pre-order goes live at 10 a.m. tomorrow,
Oh.
and I'm fighting for that collector's edition.
You know what? I have not seen anything on the collector's edition, so you should fill me in.
So I am going to actually have the
A screen share?
collector's edition on the you say Oscar?
Screen share.
Yes.
So while you pull that up real quick, I'm just gonna show the camera. Hopefully it doesn't edit it out. Are we good? Are we good?
It edited it out. Sorry, my
Boom.
face was
Can you see that at all?
I can see that there's a lot of words.
So this is a detailed day by day what's being recorded, what's being live streamed, and what's being uploaded. In my yearly calendar, that's being green screened out. Woo, you some bitch. Look at that white mask.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try and zoom in here.
And you're gonna
Let's
put
see.
it right next to your other mask.
Yeah.
And then you're
So
gonna send me a picture, and then I'm gonna be just disgruntled for a while.
I was really hoping I could do like a payment system with this, but unfortunately I'm not gonna be able to. But um I am going to get this collector's edition. Specifically for the mask. I am upset that there's no steelbook and there's no actual physical game. And that's something for another podcast rant. But we're not going to get into that right
Yeah.
now. But yeah, so this is the collector's edition, and then here's like the digital stuff that comes with the digital only version of the game.
So one final side tangent in video game regards, because we're nerds. Reading GameStop has the statue for Assassin's Creed Shadow.
So do I.
Oh, motherfucker! I'm not even gonna lie, that was cold. That was cold. That was cold hearted the way you're like, and you're like, I gotta grab the mic, and then the dead look into the camera. Ugh.
I don't have the collector's edition.
Uh,
I had canceled my pre-order, but
so
my close friend has it.
they have this statue there, and they
Dude,
have
this thing is fucking massive. Have you seen? Obviously, you've seen it, but the thing's
yeah,
massive.
I've gotten to see it in the display case, and I've gotten to see the female assassin in the game. They have her hidden blade replica as well.
Oh,
And I
cool.
was like, ooh, I make adult money. I want to buy it, but I need responsibilities because I've recently made a decision that altered my life choices, and now I am just back to square one. We'll talk about it off camera.
Yeah, of course.
but
Sorry, I was
um
cleaning up my tabs.
but it feels good. It feels great that we are having structure as we close out this chapter. And to do a little cross promotion, we don't know when yet for R&R because again, I want to do it when we're ready.
Hmm.
We have things that are lining up, but I want to be able to sit down and have ambient music picked out. I want it to be more than just how it is right now for Drinking Corner, where we have an intro theme, deadpan, no sounds, no quirks, bells, whistles, none of that. It's just us talking, no production value, ends
Right,
with a song, curtain closed. When we go into stuff, there is going to be a lot more thought and production value because one of the main reasons why I started doing this extracurricular activity that has consumed my life is because I had a passion for video design. I
right,
had a passion to make videos. I had a passion to create things, be a presenter, things that I have lost on the journey of doing this for as long as I have done it. And I have like the golden nuggets, like I still hold on to the memory of you telling me you were very proud of my first episode of Resident Evil 8 Village. That I made you guys laugh. And I've held on to that sentiment. And it's been what, a few years since then?
Tim. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't remember this conversation, unfortunately.
I do. I remember you said the scene of me being in Rose's room and like completely like diverting myself from the situation and playing soccer in her room with the little kid playset because the physics allowed you to kick around the ball. And I was making jokes, or even in Dragon Age Velgard when I was showing you guys the edit about the cat. And I was like, let me have the cat. I want the cat. And I was just doing all the little edits and taking my time doing it.
Yeah, no, I do remember that edit too. We were laughing about that. Can I have the cat? I want the cat. Can I get that cat? Can I pet that cat? I want to pet that
Put
cat.
that cat.
Can I get that cat?
And it's still something I throw into episodes I'm still making of it where I'm like, BioWare, let me have a pet. All the other Dragon Age games, like Dragon Age 1 and Dragon Age 2, let you have a pet. You got to
But
have
not
a Mabari,
Inquisition.
huh?
But not Inquisition.
Not Inquisition didn't give you a pet. Mass Effect 3 and Andromeda gave you a pet, as well as two. Two. You also had two. You had fish and a hamster in
Hmm.
two. In three, you got one of the Cerberus robot dogs.
Hmm.
And in Andromeda, you got the Pyjak.
Yes.
So it's like, come on, Bioware, why are you taking away our pets? Give us something that makes the lighthouse feel homey. Give us like a fade, like animal that relates to the character we choose. Give it personality.
Right.
Give us something that you are known for as a game studio. But that's that. I digress. That's something for a different topic. Again, R&R. We are remaking and redoing R&R.
Hmm.
Hopefully with a better structure. We have a new podcast. It
Hmm.
is the Nerdgasmic podcast. The first episode will air May 4th, 2025. Not the first episode, but a special episode. May the 4th be with you.
And with you.
It is hectic. We went into it without a structured we went into it with a structured plan that went sideways due to alcohol. A good viewpoint and reason on why we are closing the chapter on Drinking Corner. And for those of whom who go from this podcast to that one, you will see the reason why we are closing the book on this. And I am not going to be editing it to its full potential because I want that to be a detailed guideline.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Lone Thought episodes in this. If you go back and you listen to the Lone Thoughts where it's me ranting about the group and about the podcast, it's going to be one of those exemplary episodes. By no means will it set the tone for what's to come in Nerdgasmic Podcast. We don't have a structured date yet. But again, in the description below, you will find links that link you to everything to find us and contact us or view our content. There will be links that will link you to R&R where it's at, links that will link you to the Ryunn Eldred YouTube channel or to the Nerdgasmic Goodfellas YouTube channel through whatever you're watching this through, whether it's iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, all that. We thank you guys so very much for being a part of this journey, for being here to the very end. And very horrifically, I will say, so long, farewell. David takes off his headphones. Off Winterstein, good night. I hate to go and leave this pretty sight. So long, farewell. Auf Winterstein, adieu, adieu to you, and you, and you. Toodaloo, everybody.
Bye, everybody.